When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
Alright, hello YouTube, welcome back to the Grease Goblin GTO channel. Today's video is going to be all about why didn't Tywin rush Duskendale when the Mad King was imprisoned at Duskendale. So again, this is kind of a follow-up video off of my video Thursday, but there's a lot of questions here that I have for why Tywin wouldn't do it. It served to gain him a lot in the terms of Aerys wouldn't be king, someone that was disrespecting him, and was someone that obviously was going more mad by the day. And Tywin would know that an event like this would cause Aerys to spiral even more out of control. So in this video, we're going to talk about all of the reasons in which why didn't Tywin rush Duskendale, which again, they were threatening to kill Aerys if this did happen. So again, let's talk about it. But before we get into it, if you guys like to like, subscribe, and comment, we may already be at 3,000 subscribers. As of I'm recording it, we are not. So if we, are not, subscribe. We're going to be doing a 3,000 subscriber special. If you guys have any questions, put them down in the comments for me, and I will answer those in that video. So let's get into it. So there's a couple reasons right off the bat I could see why Tywin would not want to rush Duskendale. So the first one would be there would be inherently a loss of men. You're attacking a castle, you're going to lose men. Now the second option, and again, I want to go back actually to the first option with the idea that, did Tywin really care? I mean, at this point, it would get rid of Aerys for him. I don't know. I think to me, it's one of those ideas where Tywin at this point was shown to be ruthless. If he wanted Aerys to die, he probably would have just done it. So the second idea would be, well, if he didn't want Aerys to die, why? Now, the first point could be simply that public perception would not look at Tywin very favorably. The idea here would be that Tywin could have been the person that condemned Aerys to death. And something we do have to consider with Aerys was that, yes, Tywin was the person getting a lot of the credit for how peaceful Aerys's reign had been up to this point and how prosperous it had been. But Tywin would then get a lot of the blame for Aerys's death, which could maybe make Aerys kind of a martyr and kind of give him more credit than maybe he deserved. Now, another thing we'd have to probably look at here is that what would Tywin stand to gain if Aerys died? If Rhaegar becomes king, I mean, Tywin's probably not going to still be Hand of the King. I think Rhaegar and Tywin probably didn't have that great of a relationship. I think Rhaegar probably would have instilled his own men. I think Tywin probably actually stood to lose some power in that situation. Maybe Tywin could have plotted the long game and tried to marry one of his children or their children, their grandchildren, to Rhaegar and Elya's children, maybe with Rhaenys or Aegon. Could have tried that as well, trying to get them back into the line of succession. That's possible as well. And another thing that I think a lot of people maybe don't think about at this point is that, yes, Aerys and Tywin had a lot of issues up to this point. They both had been fighting constantly. And really the thing that even let Duskendale happen was the idea that Aerys went against every single decision that Tywin made. If Tywin said, hey, don't go to Duskendale, could be a trap, Aerys is going to go to Duskendale. So again, that was not great. But at this point, we also have to remember that Tywin and Aerys had a pretty large history. The two had been together for a long time. They met in the Stepstones on the War of the Ninepenny Kings. They were great friends. They've been ruling the kingdoms for a while now at this point. Regardless of what Tywin thought about Aerys, maybe Tywin just did not want to see his old friend die for the memories that they used to have and for the man that Aerys used to be. I think that's very possible as well. Also, again, I think another idea could be that Tywin wasn't really sure that they would actually execute Aerys if they rushed the castle. So it could be something where they rush the castle and they lose a bunch of guys, and they didn't end up killing the king anyway, so it was kind of pointless, because eventually Duskendale would have gotten probably starved out anyway. So it's one of those points. And you can't make the idea that, oh, well, eventually they probably were going to rush it anyway. It's like it had been 6 months at this point. Tywin had 6 months at any point to rush the castle, and he never did. If Barristan's mission had failed, sure, he probably would have at that point. But again, I just think at that point, it's like, well, okay, it's been 6 months. Now Tywin maybe has some leniency to go, I waited. You can't say I just went straight on in and attacked the castle. I waited some time, but it didn't work out that way. So to me, I think Duskendale is a very like sketchy situation when we think about Tywin's motivations. Tywin is someone that, again, we know his end goal was to get his family in power, to give them more of a legacy, and, well, by them, he meant himself, a legacy that would carry on forever. And to me, this was a moment where maybe this wasn't the best decision. Maybe Tywin should have just instantly rushed the castle, gotten rid of Aerys, and played the long game. Now, to think about this in the future, Tywin does end up winning. He does get his children on the throne. But in the end, it kind of comes with a price, because Tywin's legacy is stained, right? Because Cersei is not a great ruler. She's destroying King's Landing and the Lannister name as it is. Her children are all bastards with Jaime. Jaime is kind of someone that seems like he might be up in an upward trajectory as carrying on the Lannister name. Tyrion is this one person that's going to go down in the history books as the person that killed Joffrey, again, killing someone in the Lannister line. And now he's going with the Targaryen queen. Tywin's legacy has been completely destroyed up to this point. How could things have maybe been different if he had waited another generation and marry his children's children to Rhaegar and Elya's children? Would Lyanna still have entered the picture? All very interesting questions, but thank you guys all for watching the video. Just a little short one today. Let me know what you guys think on Tywin's decision making at Duskendale.